The Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. Welcome back to our study in Psalm 23. This is week 2. Last week we looked at the first verse, the Lord is my shepherd, I have all that I need. David spent a good portion of his childhood as a shepherd. So the imagery here is something he's very familiar with. He refers to God as his shepherd, and in relation to God, he is like a sheep. This imagery is powerful. You see, a good shepherd loves and cares for his sheep. And as long as the sheep follow the shepherd will have everything that it needs. It's the job of the shepherd to look after and to provide for the sheep. We talked about how Jesus claims this imagery in John chapter 10 when he says, I am the good shepherd. Today I want us to look at verse 2 of Psalm 23. He lets me rest in green meadows. He leads me beside peaceful streams. See, David was, again, familiar with this profession. He was familiar with the challenges involved in this profession. You see, in that part of the world, they really only get a couple of rainy seasons a year. The rest of the year, it's actually quite warm and quite dry. So for a good portion of the year, it's hard to find green meadows. It's hard to find streams. So a lot of what would happen, a lot of a big job of the shepherd was to lead their sheep to find these meadows. And oftentimes it would take several hours to bring their sheep, to lead their sheep to one of these meadows. But when they got there, the shepherd would allow the sheep to rest, would just allow them to be. Allow them to eat as much as they wanted, as long as they wanted, and just let them rest. Until the evening when he would lead them back to the sheepfold. And in this, there's this beautiful imagery. Because in the middle of what would have been a very bleak and very harsh kind of climate, droughts were common. In the midst of this, we find the shepherd leading the sheep to a place of rest and peace. In John chapter 10, verse 7 says, I tell you the truth, I am the gate for the sheep. All who come before me were thieves and robbers, but the true sheep did not listen to them. Yes, I am the gate. Those who come in through me will be saved. They will come and go freely, and I will find good pastures. Notice that pastures is plural. Notice that meadows and streams are also plural. What David is saying in Psalm 23 is that in God he found that regardless of what was happening around him, regardless of what the climate was, in God, in his Lord, he found this repeated, perpetual kind of peace and rest that he couldn't find anywhere else. And Jesus is claiming the same thing. He's offering the same thing to us. That regardless of what the climate is around us, regardless of what's happening around us in this world, he's promised that if we follow him, he will lead us repeatedly, perpetually lead us to these times of peace and rest. So regardless of what we're going through, regardless of what's going on around us, regardless of the craziness that we may be going through, if we follow our good shepherd, he's promising us a time of peace and a time of rest. He's promising us these green meadows, these calming, peaceful streams, these green pastures. I hope that's an encouragement to you today. God bless, and we'll see you later.